I don't ever just hand it to them and say, here, do your thing.
Hey, Brandy.
Yep.
You are on in room 5.
I am.
Yes. You're coming through in room 5. So, like, not muted.
Bless them.
I've got 2 screens too, so I'm not going.
We won't kill you.
Sorry, y'all.
I thought I was losing my mind.
Okay. I didn't want to start with all of, you know, her still, he was talking on there. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So everybody, can you see my screen? Can you see my screen, Lori?
Yes.
Okay. So I know you all have been doing Zoom meetings all day, so the same things. If you want to chat, I'm asking that you post your questions in the chat and comments. Lori Collard is on here, and she will be monitoring the chat for any questions or comments, or you need me to slow down. Feel free to have your cameras on. Mute your microphone unless you have a question that needs to be addressed immediately. And here, of course, your present button if you need to share your screen once we actually start working. Introduction. So in the chat, if you can put your name, or excuse me, your school and grade and subject, that way I kind of know what my target group is on what may work for you in Google Classroom. If you are interested in having a copy of this presentation, include your email and I will send this Google slide to you as a reference for later. And then what do you hope to learn from this session? I just want to make sure I address everybody's needs, and when you walk away today, you actually have a Google Classroom set up. So I will give you a few minutes to do that in the chat. And while you're doing that, I'll just introduce myself. I'm Jacinta Pleasant. I teach at John Hardin High School. I teach English, and this upcoming school year, I'll be teaching 10th grade. Lori, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, let me. Oh, I am unmuted. Okay, I was trying to copy email addresses for you too, so I'll put those together for you. I'm Lori Collard. I teach at John Hardin High School as well, and I teach engineering and computer science, 9th through 12th grade.
All right, so it looks like we have an array of teachers here. So throughout the presentation today, I will do my best to try to address all levels for this Google Classroom. So since this is Google Classroom 101, this is going to be the basis of it to create your Google Classroom to start the school year, either if you're going to be in class or if you're doing virtual online learning. All right, so here's your why, what, how, and do, pretty much your purpose of the session today. We will create a one-shot classrooms where you can organize student work, organize assignments and activities, and if we have time, I want to show you how you can use collaborative learning in breakout rooms in Google Classroom. Our goal is, and actually, this part here, I will show you what my Google Classroom looked like last year, and Ms. Collard will also share yours, so you can see that every Google Classroom does not have to be set up the same. You can use this for blended learning. I used this before NTI last year, and it was very beneficial during NTI because students were able to go back to Google Classroom to look up various resources or materials. I will demonstrate how you will create this. I will walk you step by step, and hopefully as I'm walking through, if you have an additional device, you can create your Google Classroom at the same time. So our end result will be to have a 2021 Google Classroom, practice posting assignments. I'll show you, you'll be able to organize your assignments and to create breakout rooms. So our success criteria today is learn how to maneuver through Google or in Google Classroom, set up a Google Classroom, create an assignment of due dates and topics. There's a Google Meet link and breakout rooms. So before we get started in the step-by-step instructions, I would like to show you what the end results will look like. So our classrooms look differently. So I'll start here with mine. All right, so this was my Google Classroom from last year, and this screen pretty much functions like Facebook. So on this page, I would make different announcements. I use my stream page for announcements only. After we got started with NTI, I found that having the assignments and announcements in the stream was too cumbersome for the students. So when I show you step by step on how to set this up, I'll show you that you don't have to have the announcements on this page with your assignments. I put the assignments just in the classwork. But this is just to show you, you can put videos on here. Students can actually comment on here if you give them permission. So that's what my stream looks like. This tab here is the classwork tab, and I chose to set up my classroom by days. That way, whatever day it was, the student could go to that particular tab, hit the assignment, and everything that they would need would be listed there. Other teachers I know have set theirs up by units. So you will have to decide on what your preference is on how you would like to have your classwork set up. I just found this way to be easiest for me in organizing. Then this tab, well, we'll go more into this part later because I don't want to go here because those actually have student names on those. All right, so this one will be Ms. Collard's. And Lori, if you want to go ahead and
Yes.
explain.
Yeah, and do you want me to present my screen so that I can walk through it?
Oh, sure.
That might work better. Just so I think I can. Oh yeah, it's letting me. Okay. All right. So here is my first block engineering one, and you can. This was nice. It added our Google text and phone number during NTI. That was very helpful to have in there. You can see that I chose to set my classwork up under topics. So they learned about drawing views. There were some alternative views and how to tolerance. That was a unit. And I did mine by NTI week 7, day 1 is how I set up my NTI. And I have bell ringers, and in engineering, we do instant challenges. So I put those together. And then we have 3D drawing. And so I had set that up separately. You can also set it up with, I can't remember if I did that in this one. No, I did not. You could also set up just a topic that's quizzes and tests. So it's up to you on how you set that up. Does that help? All right, I'm going to hand it back to you.
All right. All right, so we are now going to get started on step-by-step instructions on how you can set up your Google Classroom. So the very first thing that you will need to do is go to googleclassroom.com.
Jacinta, you may want to present again.
Oh, am I not presenting? I thought I was.
Well, because I kicked you off when I was presenting my screen. Sorry about that.
Sorry. Here we go. Is it sharing now? There we go.
Yes, it's there.
All right, so the first thing that you will need to go to googleclassroom.com. And this screen will pop up, and then you can go to Classroom. Now, this next part may look a little different than yours because I already have Classrooms in mine. All right, so once you get to this screen, you will go to the plus sign. And on the plus sign, you will create. Since you're the teacher, you're going to create class. Now, if you were a student, you would hit join class. So since we are creating a class, you would create class, and then we are going to title this, then you will title your class. So if we do section, I don't know, I'm just going to type some things in here. And actually for section, one thing that I found that was beneficial for my students is to have your teacher name there. That way it will show up in the banner in Google Classroom. So then next you will hit create. So if anybody is following along or actually doing this as we go and I'm going too fast, please let me know. All right, so you have now already started your Google Classroom stream. So here you have the title of your class, you have your name. And up here in the banner is the class code. Now this class code is important because this is the code that you will share with your students for this particular class. So since at the high school level, I teach 4 classes during the day, then I would have like English to first period. So I would make one of these for each of my class periods. So you would share that code for those particular students. If you look right here, if you want your class to have a Google Meet link, then you would generate the link. You can click this here, generate link, visible to students. I always had this on in the banner for students to see. So anytime that I called a Google Meet, they would easily be able to go to the banner and click on that. That would be for that particular class. So that is set up for you already. Next, over here to the right where it says select theme, if you want to change your theme in your banner, you can click whatever you like, select your class theme, and it'll change that for you. Then upload photo. If you want to upload a photo, you can do that as well. All right, so if you're looking at this screen, this will pretty much look like a Facebook page with your comments. So if you want to say something to your class, then you will type in your message or your announcement or your question. I did daily attendance questions, so I would post it here in my stream. Welcome to our class. And then I would post. Now you'll notice here when you type in a comment, you have this drop-down menu, and this will list all of your classes that you have. And if you want this same message to be in all of your classes, you could click it here, and it would go to all of your classes. That will alleviate you from having to write the message 4 or 5 or 6 times. Okay. Now, if you do not want it to go to all students, you could click individual students. Now, the option is not here because I don't have any students in this particular classroom. So then you would post. Okay. And then all your students would be able to see that announcement. Over here to the left, whatever assignments that you create will come over here, will be listed over here in upcoming, and you can click view all. We don't have any assignments as of yet, but if we had assignments in here, they would be there. All right, any questions on the stream tab? If any of you all are following along and you would like to see what this looks like from the student point of view, you could go into Google Classroom and put this code in and join as a student if you want to see what it looks like on the student side. All right, the next thing that we're going to do is our second tab up here is classwork. All right, so this is where you would post any assignments or activities you would want your students to complete. You'll notice here you have your Google Meet link. You have a Google Calendar if you want to schedule things. And what I really like in Google Classroom, this is your Google Drive folder. So anything that you have assigned in your Google Classroom will be in this particular folder. So you can always go back and retrieve it easily. Oh, one thing I do want to go back. Sorry, I do want to go back to stream. Sorry about that. And let's look at the settings to finish setting this up. So in your settings, this is important on how you want your students to have access to what they can do on the stream page. Do you want your students to post and comment? Do you only want them to comment, or is it only for teachers? I allow students to comment because sometimes they had a question that was pertinent to everyone, and then I can address it at one time. Classwork on the stream. After NTI got started, I decided I do not want classwork on the stream. I just wanted it in the classwork tab. So I hid notifications in regards to classwork. But if that doesn't bother you, then of course you would not change that. Show deleted items. If there's ever a time that you want to delete something, you can do that. And you have the option for you to be the only person to see those deleted items, or the students can see them as well. Guardian summaries, this is where you can send grade information or missing assignment information to guardians, and it will list everything for you that's missing or incomplete if you have the guardian or parent's email address. So this is very valuable, so I left that on. Again, here's your Google Meet link. You can reset it if need be. Make sure it's visible to the student so they can see it. Now the grading, it does have a grade book on here. If you want to get into the grading on total weights or categories, you can. I did not, since we use Infinite Campus. I just looked at the grade book to make sure students were not missing work or what they were missing. So once you have made whatever changes you want for your Google Classroom setup, then go ahead and click Save. All right, so back to classwork. So if you want to create an assignment, you will click Create. And we are going on this one, we'll create an assignment, type in the title. I found it very beneficial to have clear instructions for the assignment. And here you would add, so whatever document that is needed for that assignment, you'll click this Add tab here. You can go to your Google Drive, your link, your file, or if you have YouTube video that you would want to attach. So we're going to go to Google Drive. And retrieve your document. And it is, I'm doing this one here, and then your document appears. Now, you have a choice here if you want the students to view the file only, or do you want them to edit the file? Do you want a copy for each of the students? So make a copy like a copy machine. Each student will get their own individual copy. So for this one, I just want them to view it. I usually will add a sample. This one is a Google slide. And I want to show you this because this one will be one that they will be able to edit. All right, so this is a Google Slide document. So for this particular assignment, they would have to add to this slide. So I would want students to be able to edit this document. So when they click on it, there are slides here that they could add, and that way I can check all of their work at one time. All right, so there's your assignment. So once you have all of that completed, everything uploaded, then you'll go over here. Is this assignment for all of your classes? And you would check all of them, or if it's just one. Is it for all of your students or just one or two students? If you had students that missed certain assignments, you might select students here. You can put a point value here, or is it something that's ungraded? A due date. You can select your due date for when it's due. And if you have a deadline, then you can put the deadline time there or click the time. If you want to do topics, you can create a topic. If you like. This is where I had this NTI week 1, day 22. That's how I did my organization. You can create a rubric if you like on your assignments, or what I did is I just attached my rubrics for the students. I didn't create them through Google Classroom. And you also have this check plagiarism tab. This is actually really good if you have students writing essays and things like that. With our version, I think each class gets 3 opportunities to use this, and it checks plagiarism quite well. So I would just be careful or be very selective on what assignments that you might want to use that for. And the plagiarism, option will let you know what portion of the student work is plagiarized and where that work came from. So once you have set everything up, then you can go to this down arrow, either assign it immediately, schedule it for a later date, hit schedule, and there's your assignment. The other options were save as a draft, like if you started on the assignment and you're not finished with it, you can save as a draft, and the other option was delete. So since I had it scheduled for tomorrow at 8 a.m., that is why it's gray. If I had chosen to assign it now, then it would have not been gray. All right, other options for create. Quiz assignment, I use this tab if I am assigning quizzes. Google Forms is great for this because what Google Forms will do, it will import the grade into the grade book here in Google Classroom. So you don't have to do that if you use Google Form. When you set up your quiz assignment, you'll need to make sure that you click the option for the grades to be imported. Here, you're just posing a question for your students. Materials would be great. I'll show you. Well, I guess we'll go ahead and do it now. So one thing I do want to show you that I think is going to be valuable, I know for me and hopefully for you all too, is if you wanted to do breakout rooms. Google Classroom does not have breakout rooms like Zoom, but there is a way that you can get around that. So I would use material. So what you will need to do, let me see if I can get back to it. Pardon me, I'm trying to get back to, all right, let me do this. I should have.
Hey, Jacinta, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few people having an issue where they can't even set up, they click the teacher button, but it's giving them the student version. So if we can, if we can kind of figure out what's going on there real quick.
Oh, okay.
Amy and Danielle, are you both new teachers? Yeah, Danielle is. Okay.
So when you went to.
Yeah, so go back to your, do your 3 bars in the corner and go back to home, to your classes. And when you click the plus to make a create a class, when you create a class, they're saying it's not allowing them. Oh, it's only giving the student option. It's not giving them a create.
Are you using your Hardin County email address? Their teacher Google?
Yeah. Is that somebody saying that they can't create a class? Is that what's going on?
Yes.
All right. You probably joined originally as a student, not a teacher. Is it Danielle? I'm going to go in there and check her out. You guys can carry on. Let me try to help her out and I'll be back.
Okay. And Amy Lindsay also, who's new to Hardin County Schools. Okay, thank you guys for bringing that up because we want to help you.
Yeah, and if they were a student in Hardin County Schools before, somehow I think it gets messed up sometimes. So,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So Daniela Bradford and Amy Lindsay. I'm gonna.
Thank you, Brandy.
All right. I think I was showing you how to, the material tab. All right, let me go back. I've got too many things opened up here now.
Jacinta, this is Amy Wood.
Uh-huh.
It's not letting me create an account either. And I was wondering if it was because I created an account, a Google Classroom already under another Google email to play around with.
Mm-hmm.
So when I go into my Hardin County email to try to create an account, it's only bringing up student. It's not bringing up create a classroom again. Is it because I did that once already? Can you only have one Google Classroom created on a Google account?
No, because I have Google Classrooms under different accounts. So
Okay, well, I'll just keep messing with it then.
we'll ask Brandy too. I know she's still on here.
I'll get that. It's if the first time you use it with that account, if you sign up, if you join somebody's class as a student, it automatically thinks you're a student. We'll get to Amy Wood. Is that who was talking?
I got Amy and
I've never joined as a student though. I've never
I
joined
got Amy Wood and Danielle, but no, hang on. Darn it, I just did two of them.
I think you have two Amy's.
Okay, so I got both Amy Woods. I don't know which one you are, but it doesn't matter. They're both teachers.
I'm both of them because I'm on the desktop and iPad.
Okay, and then so Amy Wood, you're good to go now. Amy Lindsay, you're good to go now. I cannot find, is it Danielle or Daniela? I'm sorry. Danielle. I cannot find you. Oh, yeah, is your HCS email not active yet? So that's what's up. Once your HCS email is active, then you'll be in. So we're good. You have been using it? I cannot find you. All right, I'll fix it. I'll let you know. I'm going to stop hijacking this, and I'll just keep up with her in the chat. Sorry, lady.
Thanks, Brandy. You're fine.
You're fine. All right. So I was on the material tab. I know I would use this tab for breakout rooms. I know already I will be using breakout rooms this school year. So I think this will be valuable. And the reason why I would use a material tab is because there's no grades assigned to this. This is a tab that students will reference just for material. So to create breakout rooms in Google Classroom, this is what you will have to do. So you will, I have already created this document right here. It's called breakout rooms. And you would do this before you upload it, of course. So what you would have to do up here, I would paste our class code up there, and you would paste it in each of these. And of course, you will create the number of groups you would need for each of your classes. And then what you would do next is this last part, because this is the code into the classroom. And then you would name that group. So I'll just say group 1. And then you will label this one group 2. I think I messed that link up. And then this one would be group 3. So when this, and then you can put students' names on who would be in that particular group. So when you hit that link, a Google Classroom will pop up, and that will be the group 1 classroom. And that would work for each group. And you would be able to pop into each of those to see what the students are working on and what they're doing and add your particular feedback. When I found out about these, I just thought those were valuable, and I know I'm going to be adding that in with my Google Classroom. So any questions on breakout rooms while we're here? All right, so once you have that document, if you want to put a topic over here, you could label it breakout room, so that's where it would appear in your list of assignments. And then you would post. So there you have your introductions and then your breakout rooms. If you hit these tabs here, of course, if you want to go back, rename it, delete it, you want to copy the link, you could move this down if you want, depending on how you want to organize your assignments. Do you want the first one you did at the top, or do you want it to move at the bottom? So you have an option to do that. These 3 buttons allow you to edit and delete if need be. One feature on here that I did find very useful, if you wanted to reuse a post that you had used previously, and these are my old ones from last school year, I could click on one of these from these classrooms and say I wanted to repost a quiz on chapters 28 through 31. I could click it and hit reuse, and you don't have to type all the instructions out or the links out and everything. You see right here, everything that I had for that particular sign is there. So this was a good one to show you for a quiz. Since this was a quiz, there's my Google form. And then down here, if you want your grades to be imported into the gradebook in Google Classroom, make sure that is on. So it should be green. That way you don't have to go to the Google form to get the grades. Google Forms grades will be imported into Google Classroom. And then you can hit assign. And then it'll appear, your assignment will appear here. So are there any questions on the classwork tab? All right, here for people, you can add teachers. So if I wanted to add Lori, she will get an invite, and then she would have access to my Google Classroom. She would be able to do everything that I do. So if you have a collab teacher in your classroom, that's how you would invite them. Typically, you would give your students the code, but I'm going to invite Lori as a student if I can. But I want you all to see how work is posted, if we can do that. So I will invite Lori as a student. But once the students use the code, this will populate with all of your students' names. So Lori, if you could post something in the About Me assignment on one of those slides real quickly, that way we can show them what that looks like.
Yeah, I'm not, it hasn't come through yet. Let's see.
Okay.
The invite.
So that's the people tab. And then on the grades tab, well, once the assignment is completed, this is where your grades, your students' names will appear and your grade book would appear. So while Lori's trying to do that, are there any questions so far about anything that I have mentioned about Google Classroom?
Jacinta, it invited me as a teacher. So
It did or did not?
You know what? Give me the code and I'll go into my classroom and join.
Okay. Can you see the code on there?
Let's, ooh,
Oh, here.
no.
There you go.
Old. Oh, there we go.
You got it?
Yes.
But also for grades, let me go back. For people, you can invite guardians. So here you have Lori Collard, so that's our student. So if you have a parent or guardian that wants access to what's going on in the classroom, you can invite them here. And what they will get would be not access to the stream and everything, but they will get notifications of announcements and it will be sent to them via email. So now that we have one student populated, now your grade book would populate. So you will see we have one student here, and then the one, well, here it has the To Kill a Mockingbird quiz. So like if she completed that with Google Forms, it would automatically import that grade there.
Do you want me to do this?
No, let me go back and I'm going to edit this because I shouldn't have scheduled it for tomorrow, so it will just show up today.
It's letting me take the test.
Did it? I don't know if I can change that back. What time is it?
It is 3:21.
I don't know if it's going to let me. Oh, and I see what I did. Because it says it's not due, so we'll take the due date off, maybe. Sorry, guys.
If you post a quiz with Google Forms and you do it the day before, you can also turn it off in Google Forms so that it doesn't they don't accidentally do it early.
Right. So any questions? So now that I changed the due date for the About Me one pager, you see that it popped up. And then you can click on here.
I don't see an About Me assignment.
It may be a little delayed. On my end, I had just changed the due date.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay. That's what you mean by that. There it is.
So when you click the hyperlink in the grade book, it will take you to this page. It will have all of your students listed here. The point value and whatever the grade might be there. Once it's graded, this box will turn a color and you can return the grade to the student automatically. So it will send them a notification that their assignment has been graded. And here, once Lori finished her assignment, then you would see a document with her work on it, and you could click it for you to see the work to be graded. So that would be all the student work. And if you look up here where it says instructions, it just takes you back to that assignment with the instructions and what other materials you might have. So any questions, anyone? hopefully I was able to give you some information on how to set up your Google Classroom, and hopefully you found that information valuable for this school year, especially, since we are, we may start in the classroom, but eventually end up doing NTI, or for those teachers that are doing the virtual online learning, this would be valuable as well.
And just to emphasize that too, Jacinta, I would try to start the school year out with students understanding Google Classroom and how your expectations for it and how you lay it out because of that NTI. I think we talked that at John Hardin, that's going to be one of the first things we want our students.
Yeah, I think it's very important that you explain to the students how the Google Classroom works, because one thing that we did have, I guess, issues with, I know I did, was students can hit the posted button on their end. They have a post button for their assignment, and it would be blank pages. So I would definitely walk parents and students through the process on how the Google Classroom works and how they're supposed to get access to the assignments and then post their work.
Jacinta, you can show them. I marked mine as done on the About Me page, and you can show them that I didn't link anything.
All right. So let's go back out. I don't know why I'm going all the way to your work on the About Me. All right, so she clicked it, she clicked turned in. But you'll see, yeah, because Laura, I don't have anything here. So what she did on her end is she clicked turned in, but didn't actually do any work. So there's nothing there.
And the funny thing is, it will tell you as a student, when you click mark as done, it will say, but you didn't attach anything. Are you sure you want to mark as done?
Right. And since she was supposed to have added her assignment into the slide, you can go here and see that there's nothing even on the slide. All right, we have 3 minutes. So I just want to go through these last few things. If you want access to this slide presentation, in here, I have included reference slides. So if you were unable to set yours up as I went along, these slides are here as a reference, explaining each of the tabs and what you need to do to set up your classroom. So it has all those steps there. And then this next slide are just some resources and extensions that I think would be valuable for Google Classroom. Here are 2 YouTube videos on how to do breakout rooms. Some breakout rooms are a little bit more in depth. I just showed you a quick version, depending on what you're going to do in those breakout rooms. So you might find these videos valuable. 2 extensions that I found that may be useful for breakout rooms. It's called Mute Tab and Class Tag. Mute Tab is where you can have all 4 breakout rooms on your screen at once, but you can mute the other classes if you don't want to hear those students talking and listen in at one breakout room at a time. So that would be valuable. Other things that I know Lori and I have used before that are also that work in connection with Google Classroom are Flipgrid, Screencastify. Today I was going through some of the trainings for the Tech Summit today, and the interactive notebook would be, I think, invaluable for use with Google Classroom. I'm definitely going to be checking that one out. So if you did not attend that session, it's already on the YouTube channel, so you might want to check that one out. And I also saw another one that would be good for Google Classroom as well is Boom cards. So if you did not attend those 2 sessions, you might want to look into those and see how you can embed those in Google Classroom. These are some resources that were given to us by Brandy New in regards to Google Classroom. So you might want to check these links out. It might be a link that you want to share with parents and students on how to use Google Classroom. And these are just some things to be mindful of when you're using Google Classroom. PDFs are hard to use. So try your best to, convert those to Google Docs or Google Forms and things of that sort. So there are some tips there. I don't want to go through all those because we are running out of time. So, are there any questions on what we have presented today for Google Classroom?
I have the email addresses captured, and I'm sending an email with the link to the slides.
Thank you.
And I'll copy you on it, Jacinta.
Thank you.
No problem.
I couldn't keep up with the chat. Now I'm seeing all comments.
It's hard when you're presenting.
Well, I'm glad they got those figured out. So hopefully you all were able to set up your Google Classroom, or now you have the information to set that up. All right. So if there are no questions, well, this is the end of our session, and hope you all have a great evening. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or Lori at any time. So Laura, you said you're emailing them the...
Yes, it should have just gone out.
Okay.
Oh, there were 2. Oh, it's fine. Those are the ones that got were written wrong in there. We're good. Yep, it should have gone to everybody.
Can you post a link for the slides? Yes.
Oh, a sign in and sign out form. I think
I posted it at the beginning.
Yeah, let's repost that. I can do that.
Yeah, I know because I know I kept getting kicked off and on.
There, you should be set now, David.
As a presenter, did we need to sign in too?
If you need PD credit.
I don't need PD credit. I think I'm way over.
I'm way over too. All right.
Well, I think we're good. There's no questions. Well, all right, Lori. Well, thank you.
Yes, and you can always email Jacinta or myself with questions. Thank you. Good job, Jacinta.
All right, thanks. You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
No, it is not too late. Just behave well. All bad advice is for you. I'm your biggest fan. I'll follow you until you love me. I'm a bossy. So I'm the superstar. You know that I think you're talking about. Better not be that behavior again. That's gonna scary. But I was 17 crazy. This is no stalking. Not the kind you wear. The kind they put you in the jails. People is going to call the police on you. Honey, now. Who's honey now? Take me into your loving arms. No, you're not loving anybody's arms. It's the under the light of a thousand stars. What are you missing now? Place your hands on my feet and hand on the bosom. No, man, touching the bosom. No kissing, no bosom hands, nothing. Stop it now. I don't want to hear one more note from this mouth. Go brush your teeth. Go to sleep. Enough. Go to the window. I don't feel like doing it. What's new? I'm just gonna make it my bed. Didn't even wear pants today. Pattoons hanging on the telephone bike for 3 days. I'm paying $62 every month for your pattoons to hang on the telephone bike. Sing lazy song, lazy girl. Sing, do tell all your friends how lazy you are. Proud, so proud, woman. So proud. Let's share with the world. Close the window, put some pants, leg. Hello, pants. Go to sleep. Why you gotta be so rude? I'm gonna marry you anyway, but no, Mary. No, Mary. Other girl. No, you know that. No matter what you say. No family. You go get some other family. I can feel deep. But confident in something. Not for you. But if the world was ending, you'd come over right. False. You'd come over and you'd stay right. You'd love me for the way. All our fears would be irrelevant. Hey, no boys allowed. Everyone is ending, no boys allowed. Hey, everyone is ending, no boys allowed. What are your studies? What's your studies? No, we're ready. Ending. Nobody's coming over. Close the windows.
This is a collect call from Boston County Jail. Do you want to accept the call from Sheena Melwani? Press 1 to accept this call.
Yes. Hello, yes, please. Where do I send the money? Take her. Take her, please. I have waited so many days for this call. You will ask us completely day and night. Take away internet. Take away TikTok. Take away. No piano, no music, no phone, no nothing. I will sleep at night. Please, I will beg for money right now. Please come get her. Thank you. Thank you. God bless.
do you call a side by side that only rides one person? ATV? ATV.
Click Continue to get these free tools and MyWay.com update on your Chrome New tab.
What are you making?
Hi, my name is Kathy, and I'd like to welcome you to the Riverboat Inn and Suites. This is the only American-owned riverfront hotel in all of downtown historic Madison. We'd like for you to come in the front door as our guest, but immediately become part of our family so that you'll return again and again and again. We welcome you to come by boat or by private airplane. Madison does have its own airport, and we do have 2 marina locations downtown. And if your boat's not too huge, just choke a stump out our front yard here in the river. We will pick you up wherever you arrive. Of course, you do have to make reservations ahead of time, but we are happy to pick you up. We're happy to run you around town in the golf carts. Slight charge for that, but we can do it for you. All of our rooms are individually decorated.